Hello, my name's Emma Fawcett and I am an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator based in Newton Abbey, Belfast, Northern Ireland. Thank you so much for joining me today on Emma's Crafty Space. Today I'm going to be looking at this new bundle that Stampin' Up has released just in time for Christmas. It's called the Curvy Celebrations Bundle, and as you can see it is quite extensive. Now there is also 6x6 DSP paper stack. I have split it up into the colours. So in this pack it is featuring Sahara Sand, Cherry Cobbler and Shaded Spruce, and the papers are absolutely beautiful. I'll just take one of the colours and show you some of the designs. So you've got your stripes and kind of like a hessian check. You've got like mistletoe leaves and stars, a little polka dot ditzy pattern, and I don't know, like a leafy pattern on that one. You've got little miniature trees here and then another check on that side. So the papers are really nice. Nice for little gift wrap packaging and little boxes and things, or just a nice background. So we'll just give it a quick flick as well so you can see them all there. So we'll just have a look at these. So the DSP and this stamp set is available up until Christmas, and then these two pieces I think are transferring into the new spring summer catalogue, so you will still get plenty of mileage out of these two. The whole suite itself is a cost in around £65 or £66 for everything. So you're getting your two stamp sets, a die set and your DSP for all of that, or you can kind of break it down and buy other bits and pieces separately. So the one I'm going to feature today is we're going to go Christmas. So we'll just put that away and then I will show you the project that I'm going to be making today. So I have decided I'm going to try and make a Bendi card, only because I think the suite actually really lends itself through to scenes. So whenever I open this up, you can see then I have something inside, so you can do your greeting or whatever in there. There is a little slit here, but that's for this first part, just to get tucked in. And then this one then kind of comes around the front. So then I have placed a bow there that is really just to hide where the joins are, and again it's very much in keeping with that Sahara Sand background, and I used the stamped image there to stamp the trees in Shaded Spruce also. So I'll give you some measurements just to get us started. So you need a card base, and I've cut that in thick Whisper White. It's basically an A4 cut in 4, so it's 5 7/8 by 4 1/8, and then your DSP is going to be 1/8 smaller than that again, so it's going to be 5 3/4 by 4. Okay, then you've got these two. So these are your two wings or arms. So one measures 2.5 by 5 7/8, and this one measures 1 3/4 by 5 7/8. And then on one end I have scored 1/2 inch, and then I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but here I've drawn a little pencil mark at 1/4 inch, and these little squares are 1/4 inch. So a little tip for that is you just line your ruler down and do your pencil, and I'll tell you why you're doing that. And that's the same with this one as well, just at 1/4 inch and scored 1/2 inch. Okay, so I'm not going to layer these up because whenever I was making the card the first time round, I had it all stuck together and then decided to stamp the trees in the background, made a bit of a mess. So this is why I'm now going to stamp the image on this first. So the first thing I'm going to do is a bit of die cutting. Now in the dies you will see there is quite a lot of shapes, okay, and there is one little one that looks a bit odd, which is this, and this actually coordinates with this little sprig here, but I'm actually using it as a tree. So if you look in on my card you can see my little trees. Okay, so that's what we're going to use. So you need to cut 6 of those out, so I already have my 6 cut out, and we're going to use this die here to get that nice waved curved line of our scene. Okay, I've already die cut this for the purpose of the video, so you can see that my scored end is on this side and my pencil line is in this side. So if I set that down you will see just how little I've actually trimmed off this. So I'll just set that down so you can see it, and I'll lay the die down. So if you look at the die, you've got one side that has the blade and then all the wee holes. So this is your edge, so that goes to the top because you're wanting that nice curved hill kind of effect. So if I set that on, I would basically put this top edge to that edge so that I wasn't losing too much of the card, because I wanted one side to be deeper than the other. And then it was the same for this. Sorry, I'll just move that up. If you look at this side, again, you can't really afford to lose too much on this one because it is already a narrower piece. So again, I just set that to the edge basically, and run it through the big shot. Now you've got obviously these little bits here as your scraps. Then you can actually then use those for your little tree. It will fit into them, and you can use those little scraps in and try and be a wee bit conservative with your waste pieces. You can just use that for your trees then. So I'm going to show you then how I have got my tabs, because obviously we need these tabs for them to slot in. Okay, so this is why I have drawn these little lines at 1/4 inch. So I'm just going to get my snips and make my tabs. So you're just going to like make little triangles, and then you're going to cut to those lines. Okay, like that. So that is one tab, and then I'm going to just need to get a rubber to rub that out. Okay, so that's one side done, and then the same with this. So make a little tab here and cut to that line. You want to try and get it in the middle of that so that the whole section is supported and it's just not top heavy, and then this bit will be flopping if you don't need to do the tab down to the bottom. So just again give that a wee rub out. Now this edge here is quite rough, so if you wanted to you could smooth that off a little bit, but just try not to take too much off it. Okay, just take that little point off it. Okay, another thing, you're going to need to get a bone folder and just give this a good burnish, because you want nice creased edges here. So this is like your hinge for your legs to kind of come round. What you're going to do is you're just going to have a wee look at this, so, and make sure that it's okay, and when it comes over here that it is going to be completely flat to the bottom here. Okay, so I would suggest taking a little wedge out of this, and it just means that whenever the card's open, you're not going to see this thick bit here of cardstock on this second layer. So I took a little wedge out of mine on both sides like that. Okay, so we'll glue these. Again, you can use tear tape because it's quite strong. I might even just take that off, just because we don't really need it. So I'm going to use wet glue because I find it just as strong as tear tape, and it means then you've got a wee bit of time to get that lined up along here and along the bottom. Okay, so just hold that down and make sure it just bonds really well. Again, give it a wee press. Okay, and the same with this side. So again, I'm just going to cut a wee bit off this. It means it's not so bulky underneath the DSP as well. And stick it down again. So again, line it up to the bottom here and up to that left hand side. Okay. Give that a wee press down just to make sure it's completely bonded. Okay, so now I'm going to lay this down, and it's really just so that I can see how far down this piece goes, and it means then that I know roughly where to stamp my trees. So I'm doing a little line up here and a little line here, and I try and go somewhere in the middle where the two will meet. Okay, so we'll just set that to the side and let it dry. And I've already got my image onto a block, And I'm just going to ink it up with shade Spruce. I'll have to use a big block for this because it's only one it fits on. I really love this image. It's really ditzy and delicate. So I'm just going to look for my pencil line here and just try and go somewhere in the middle. It just means then that the trees will be visible whenever the card is closed. Okay, and that is your image. So again, just rub those wee lines out. Okay, and then it's ready for it to be stuck down onto your card base. So again, just a bit of wet glue, not too much because obviously DSP is thinner than card and you don't want it to be going soggy and wrinkling up on you. Just make sure whenever you're lifting this and setting it down that you're getting it the right direction, your trees are facing the right way. Okay, and again, because you're using the wet glue, you have that wee bit of time just to get it into place. Okay, so now you need to get a ruler again, and we need to measure whereabouts you need to put your slit. So because this is a bendy card, you just don't want it lying flat. You want there to be a curve on it. So we need a mark on here somewhere where there's going to be a little slice. So from this side, it's going to be 4 inches. Again, I'm just going to do a little mark at 4 inches. I'll just, because I don't know where my tab is going to meet. So I then am going to line this up. Make sure it's at the bottom again. And you can even do a little notch like that so you know where you need to go. So I know I need to cut between here and here for that little notch to be able to tuck in behind. Then for this side, you need this to come like here. Okay, just gonna have a wee look at this. We're gonna go 2 1/4 this side. So go down a wee bit lower. And again, you're going to do it very, very lightly in your pencil because you want to be able to rub it off and for it not to damage the paper where you can't rub it out. So again, like just do it like that so you can see. Again, make sure you're lined up along the bottom there. Okay, so I need to know that I need to cut between there and there. So you can either do this on your trimmer, or if you have any like wee crafting blades, you can use those. So I'm going to use crafting blades because I just find them much easier to work with. If you are quite seasoned on your trimmer, then you could use your trimmer. I did actually use a trimmer for the first one, but for this one I'm just going to use crafting blades. So I am going to get my ruler. I always use metal rulers as well because it just means then that the blade isn't cutting into the plastic and damaging a ruler that you're using. So just give it a wee press in and follow your lines. Okay, and same with this one. Use your ruler just to keep you in the right place. Okay, and then I'm just going to give it a wee rub with a ruler, or a rubber, sorry. Give it a wee rub with a rubber just to get those pen lines off. And we'll give it a little, I'm just checking the other side. You can see that it's through. Give this a wee bit of support here on this side. Give it a wee crease. And then try this. Hopefully it works. So you can see I am completely flush to the bottom and my little flap is in. And we'll try this one as well. Now it looks like it's a really big flap for all the size of the point, but your flap, the little slice actually needs to be the width of the base of this, and it's just so that that tucks in and nests in nice and neatly, which it does. And that is basically the kind of base of your bendy card. Obviously you could go all out with this and you could have loads going on. I always prefer the less is more outlook on crafting projects. I don't like anything too cluttered or busy. So for me, I just want to keep it very simple. So I'm just putting this wee blade away. Now, if you find that when you've been working with the card, it's got maybe a wee bit creased, just run your bone folder up it and that should smooth it all out again. Okay. And that'll kind of soften those edges too. Okay, so now I'm going to stamp my greeting and I'm going to do it in Cherry Cobbler. Now, if you look at the greetings in this stamp set, they are in a wave or a curve, and that's to be in keeping with these curved lines. Now, this one, unfortunately, wasn't quite the right shape I wanted it to be. So if you look at the shape of it here, I've actually manipulated it into a shape so that I can have it running down the curve that I want, and that is the brilliant thing with photopolymer. You can manipulate it to a point, so I have manipulated it just to get it into the right position so that it's going down this smaller slope in a different way that it is actually made. So just take your time with it. There's no rush. Okay, so again, I'm stamped that in Cherry Cobbler, so I'm just going to let that dry. And while it's drying, I'm now going to attach my little trees. So as I said, I've die cut out 3 of them, and I'm just going to put this in so that I can get the positioning of them, because I really want them to be up on this peak here. So even if you get one, now they are a bit fiddly because they're small and they're not actually meant to be trees. So if you get one on, and then you know that you can go either side. So I'm just putting that, touching that with the glue so that whenever I take this out, I can see where the glue is and then I can start working with it. So just set it down like that. Okay, Tombow is quite quick drying, so you don't have to leave them for too long and you don't need to weight it or anything. If you want to add a bit of sparkle, you could run a piece of some glue up the curve and put some glitter on it, or some of the artificial snow. I would make a really nice different texture on it. Okay, and that wee one there. Okay, so there's my first 3 on. So we will bring these over. Just put that into its little notch, and then I need to put that one in there, and this is just so I know where I'm putting these trees at. So again, a little bit of glue, and I'm going to put them here. I'm just marking it with the glue so that whenever I undo this, I can see where it goes. And then I know I want one tree either side. So I don't think they would take a lot of batter in these wee trees because they're such little that you're actually attaching to the card. So just be careful with it. Okay. So you can see I have a little bit of extra glue there. So I'm just dabbing it away with my finger, and if I need to, then I can go in with my glue rubber. Okay. When I was making this little card up, I just didn't know what to put on this join. I felt it just needed something, so I decided that I would go for this natural twine because it is quite Sahara sand looking, and at the moment we're not holding any Cherry Cobbler ribbons. So I did up the bow, and then I pulled it all apart on itself. So you just want to play about with it. Do the bow on the reel, because it means then if you make a mistake, you just untie it and redo it. Whereas if you cut it and then it's not long enough, then you're having to go back to it and you end up just wasting all your ribbon. So just cut that off. Not with your paper snips, remember, because it is ribbon. So what I mean by pulling it apart was I expanded it. You pull all the little threads. This is actually linen thread all together, so you can see that's making the bow bigger than actually what it is when it's all woven together. Might just take a wee minute or two, but I think it definitely is worth it rather than just putting it on when it's all compressed in on itself. Again, just down the legs. Now you can fiddle about with it more when it's on the card and make it a bit bigger, but I just think if you look at that in comparison, you know, it has made it substantially bigger. Oh. And a little glue dot should hold it in place for you. Now you're not wanting to put this right over that, you're just wanting it to kind of hide it a little bit, make it a wee, just not completely, but just so that it hides that join. So I just set it in there. And that is our Bendi card complete. So you can see down there, it is actually quite substantially wide and bulky, but then obviously you just unhook it all and it will post flat for you. So it's a very neat card. I absolutely love it. And I think it would be a wee bit of a feature card sitting on your fireplace or mantelpiece at Christmas. Just tuck that back in again. And again, just you can fiddle about with this and get it as big or as compact as you want it. But yeah, I'm really pleased with that. I hope you enjoyed it and you maybe have a go at making one yourself. They are very simple. And if you're wondering where would you write your sentiment, you could then layer up another piece on the back, but you would just need to make sure that you don't have any glue around this area so that little tab can slot in and out, or you can just write your greeting in underneath all the wee trees in the inside. I maybe should have moved the trees up slightly, but I am happy with it, and it is something that you can play about with. You can do different colors. You could do an inky technique for the background instead of using DSP. It is entirely up to you, but I just thought I would come on and showcase all the pieces of the suite. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you enjoyed it. Take care now. Bye bye.